Hello, my name is Elena. Today is World Vitiligo Day, and we are happy enough to be with Matteo Bordignon. He's a highly qualified doctor and surgeon who graduated with honors at the University of Padua. In 2009, he specialized in dermatology and venereology, also at the University of Padua, one of the most prestigious in Italy and one of the oldest in the world. He is also author and co-author of several articles published in international scientific journals. And during his training, he took part of several clinical trials and activities in the laboratory. After 10 years of research, Matteo Bordignon is an expert in this skin condition, and today he will help us to understand a bit more about vitiligo. Hello, Matteo, welcome. We are very happy to be with you today.
Good morning, and thank you for the invitation. I'm delighted to be here.
As we said, today is World Vitiligo Day, an opportunity to raise awareness about this skin condition that affects around 2% of global population. How would you describe vitiligo to those people that are watching us and maybe don't know exactly what it is?
Vitiligo is a skin condition that creates white patches on the skin surface. These white patches appear because of a lack of certain cells called melanocytes that are normally present in the skin. We are still not entirely sure why melanocytes disappear, but my research and my studies have helped to show why and how it happens. Without the melanocytes, the skin cannot produce melanin, which is the natural pigment that gives the skin its normal color. That's why white patches appear. Apart from the difference in skin color, vitiligo does not cause any problems with internal organs or even the skin itself. The rest of the organism is still fully functional. Unfortunately, however, the fact that these white patches appear in prominent places such as the face, hands, and feet, or on several parts of the body, can cause psychological problems for people who are affected by vitiligo, because these patches are sometimes mistaken for other skin diseases. And this type of confusion can cause considerable distress to all patients with this problem.
You've been studying vitiligo for the last 10 years. What attracted you to this skin condition?
My connection with vitiligo started almost by chance. When I was young and specializing in dermatology clinic at the University of Padua, one of my old colleagues approached me and asked me if I would be interested in monitoring patients with vitiligo. I replied, "Well, of course, I think that's very interesting." And he said, "Actually, none of your colleagues wanted to deal with the problem because the patients never get better." His words had a big impact on me at the time, because I couldn't believe that a patient with a skin condition could not improve with suitable monitoring and the best available technologies. And that was the moment when I started studying vitiligo and following up patients with this problem. And indeed, despite all the treatments available at the time, the results were minimal. From then on, I started doing research into this disease to find a new aesthetical solution and a new path to help people with vitiligo around the world.
When you look over the last 10 years, what is the most exciting moment?
There have been plenty of exciting moments during this journey, but the first one is the one that made me the happiest. It was when a good friend of mine, the biologist who was doing experiments to search for the presence of a new possible cause for vitiligo, Mia protein, called me and told me that the samples were positive. So that was the first time in the world that Mia protein had been observed in patients with vitiligo. This was the first discovery that led to all my future research.
You are talking about exciting moments, but it cannot have been plain sailing. Did you ever consider throwing in the towel?
Well, the truth is that when a road is long and hard, there are always difficult moments. And it is also true that sometimes you feel like giving up. The question that often pops into your mind is, what have I got myself into? You do think that. But what keeps you going is the thought that your research, that the work you are doing, could help millions of people in the future. And that is the greatest motivation for any medical researcher in the world.
I'm listening to you and I can stop thinking about the passion and the dedication that doctor feels with their patients. We know that medicine is a vocation and the doctor want to help people, want to improve their lives. But do you think that this same vocation helps you and gives you the strength to willpower to spend so many years studying vitiligo?
Well, I'm sure that the fact of starting with the patient is the most important of all. In fact, applied research is probably one of the most important branches of medical research in general. Because observing the patient is what gives you the idea and the inspiration to persist with your research. So, thinking about the person in front of you, whose illness you are trying to cure, to be able to improve his or her quality of life with your research, is one of the main motivations for a doctor to keep trying.
You've talked before about Mia protein and its importance in your studies, but what it is exactly?
Mia protein is a set of amino acids, a protein we have proven to be linked to the development of vitiligo. In practice, because of a generic predisposition that is not entirely clear, or due to other stimulus, people who tend to have vitiligo start producing this protein in the melanocytes themselves. Once the protein is there, it binds together and takes on the form of scissors that break the normal bonds of the melanocyte to the basal layer, detaching it from the skin. The fact that melanocytes are detached from the basal layer of the skin causes their disappearance. The absence of melanocytes, which are the cells responsible for pigmentation, causes the appearance of white patches, the distinctive sign of vitiligo.
That's incredible, Matteo, because your research will help a lot of people. How do you feel now that your research has reached a successful condition?
It's an incredible feeling. We still have a long way to go, but every time I see the results, I get a thrill. It seems almost impossible that after so many years we finally have the possibility, with Repigment 12 cosmetic treatment, which we have developed after 4 years of research with Aurora, to give patients a new treatment option. And yet more incredible is that we have an efficient cosmetic treatment, capable of resolving large white patches that would not have shown good results with other treatments.
This is an amazing story, Matteo. You are a model of perseverance and dedication. What would you say to a young researcher who is starting out now?
If a person, a young researcher, is starting out in his career in the field of science research and has a clear idea of their own that he wants to work on, my first tip would be to believe in himself completely. I would remind him that he is the only one that can carry out the project, bring it to fruition, and turn it into something specific, which was my case. Nobody will ever believe in him or trust him like he trusts himself. And nobody will have such a clear and comprehensive vision of the project. And it is also important to be your own harshest critic. Seeing weaknesses, detecting drawbacks, and dealing with them before someone else, with a less constructive view of the project, notices them. I think that any researcher or person with this mindset is sure to achieve great things. He will be able to undertake big projects, which is incredibly important because we are seeing, particularly when it comes to projects in the health field, how important scientific advances are. In any branch, for everyone to be able to live a better life.